Blucher felt confident both of his own position and in the hope, however unfounded, of support from Wellington. Old rough and ready Blucher was wholly confident of victory. 3 o'clock and the battle was about to commence. 83,000 Prussians with 224 guns confronted 63,000 Frenchmen and 230 artillery pieces across the shallow valley. The two opposing commanders were unmerciful foes who, like their troops, were filled with an implacable hatred for their enemy. Many times before the two had met in battle. Blucher had been present at both Jena and Leipzig and had command at several of the 1814 battles, urging his Russian and Austrian allies to Paris. The vector of Brion and Longchamps was pitted against that of La Rothière and Lyon. Ligny would be a fight to the end, a bloody attritional fight with no quarter given or sought. It was time to settle old scores. A cannon boomed. Then again, and a third time a French Guard artillery piece recoiled. It was the signal. Gerard's men heard it over at Ligny. Grouchy's men heard it over on the right wing. And over to the south of Saint-Amand village, the soldiers of Vendôme heard the cannon shots. The Eagle's Last Triumph. Napoleon's Victory at Ligny, June 1815, by Andrew Uffendale. Welcome to Check Your Leader TV. Today we're going to present you with the General d'Armée post-game report. The Battle of Ligny, a game we played via Skype during lockdown. So the rules I used were my go-to rules for Napoleonic gaming, which are the excellent General d'Armée rules by Dave Brown. And the scenarios out of the 1815, the 100 Days campaign book. There's 6 scenarios in that. I've already played the first one, and you can find the video on my channel under General d'Armée playlist, and that was the Battle of Gilly. And that was simply an introduction to General d'Armée. Then I played a game, the second scenario, which was Quatre Bras, and initially we were playing that, myself and Rowan were playing that face to face, but we went into lockdown, so I had to complete that game remotely. And then finally, we're now up to here, which is the Ligny game. I say finally as, well, it's not finally really, is it? Because my intention is to play the other 3 scenarios, but we're now up to the Ligny game, and again we find ourselves in home detention, and so as a consequence of that, I'm using the technology of Skype. So basically what I did is I set up the table. The 2 guys, Arno and Daryl, told me how they would like their troops deployed. Arno playing as the Prussian and Daryl playing as the French. The Prussians under Zieten and the French under Vendôme. You can only look at those things. Okay, so before we start, I'll just explain the deployments for you, so you can understand who's who in the zoo. The way the French deployed, they had 4 infantry brigades on table, plus a cavalry brigade, and an off table that could arrive at either turn 6. They could expect a regular infantry brigade of 3 battalions plus artillery battery, or they could wait until turn 8 and they could get a young guard brigade of 4 battalions of young guard and a battery of artillery, 6-pounders. The Prussians, for their part, they have 4 infantry brigades, 3 committed, and one brigade in reserve on table. The way the Prussians deployed, their largest brigade, which is Jaguars Brigade, basically was divided between these 2 areas here at the village of Ormond. I think it's Saint-Ormond or Ormond. With this brigade consisted of 3 regular battalions and 3 reservist battalions. So Arno put essentially 1 regular battalion in here, in this village, or this part of the village, and then another regular battalion over here. He then put his 3rd regular battalion basically waiting to support this battalion in here, together with a reservist battalion, and then the 2 remaining reservist battalions here. Now, this brigade was a Landwehr brigade under Reuben. He put 1 large recruit battalion in here, 1 large recruit battalion in here, and he kept his 3rd battalion in reserve. That left Steinmetz's brigade, which is made up of 2 regiments, the 12th and the 24th. And one of the things that the Prussians can do is they can divide any of their brigades into their constituted regiments. And Arno did that with Steinmetz. He put the 12th regiment over here and the 24th over here. And the battery that was attached to this brigade, the only artillery battery attached to Steinmetz's brigade, he allocated to the 24th. Now, there is also, and I'll put it here, I'll just mark it as so, there is a Prussian battery here of 6-pounders that belongs, I think it belongs to the cavalry brigade. I'm not too sure. Anyway, I'll have to check on that. And then there's a cavalry brigade under... The Prussian cavalry brigade is commanded by Lutzow. So that's a Prussian cavalry brigade consisting of a large regiment of Hussars, and then there's a small regiment of Landwehr cavalry. For the French, we have Lafole's brigade, Cousson's brigade, Bethazin's brigade, and Lagarde. So Lafole, Cousson, Bethez, and then Lagarde. And then under Donman, I think that's how you pronounce it, there's a French cavalry brigade consisting of, well, there's supposed to be 2 chasseur regiments, but we're using a Hussar regiment and a chasseur regiment here. The French, for their part, they deployed their batteries here, 12-pounders and 6-pounders. And so that is the deployment. The opposing plans, well, the Prussians were pretty straightforward. It was just to hold as long as they could. They did expect, I think it's from turn 6 or turn 4, I'll check. The Prussians have an off-table brigade of reservists. I think it's the 2nd Westphalian, 3 large regiments of reservists, and they can come on anywhere within this area between the edge of where the brook exits the table to this point here. The French, for their part, their off-table reserve can come on anywhere they want along this table edge. The French initially decide that they're going to attack through here, and once they capture this built-up area, they'll then turn their attention to capturing this one. And so that's how they set up. Now we're all set, and let's crack on from there. So here we can see we're ready to go. Troops are deployed, and the first thing we have to do is we roll for ADC availability. So yeah, we do that. We roll for each ADC that's on the table, you roll a die, and then for each ADC that's off table, you also roll a die, but it's a different coloured die, and the ADC's less likely to be available. Yeah, so at end of turn 1, it's fairly much shared honours. There's 2 casualties on this Prussian skirmish screen, but they did dispose of 1 French base of skirmishers. There's 2 casualties on that skirmish screen. There's 1 casualty on the garrison in here, and the Prussian artillery over here, they fired at those cavalry over there, and they caused 2 casualties. So that's it. That's the end of turn 1. So the game opened with Cousson's brigade leading the assault on Saint-Amand on the French right-hand side of the battle, the right flank. Lafole's brigade came up in support. There's no infantry assault order as such, so it was just the lead battalion of Cousson's brigade went in, and they were driven off. So the next thing that happened of real note was on the French left flank. The Prussian battery that was deployed over there, the French cavalry weren't too pleased about them being there as they were being fired upon, so they charged the Prussian guns, but only to be countercharged by the Prussian cavalry. Now, the Prussian cavalry actually had the advantage, but after 2 rounds of melee, the Prussian cavalry was sent reeling back to attempt to rally behind Saint-Amand-la-Haye, and that left the French cavalry sitting in a very precarious position in front of the battery that was their original target. So now I'll just take you back to some real-time footage. So this is the situation at the end of turn 4. Currently, you look down here, that's the Prussian cavalry. They routed back here. Currently, we're going to dice to see if they pull themselves together, or they might get a subwoofer result and just disperse. The French, you can see here the victorious French cavalry are currently milling around right in front of these Prussian guns, Prussian skirmishers, and a garrison here. I don't think this garrison can fire on them, but that one certainly can. And other than that, we have over yonder the situation over here. We have a situation where this battalion attempted to assault, inflicted 2 casualties but suffered 3 and was thrown back and then back here. And now this brigade here is moving up to attack. I believe that's what they're going to do. They're probably going to have a crack here, but their lead battalion's been become unformed from fire from this battery. So that's the end of turn 4, and now we're about to go into turn 5. So now I'm just going to give you a bit of a running commentary of what happened between turns 5 and up to turn 8. At turn 6, the Prussian Reserve Brigade arrived, consisting of the 2nd Westphalian Landwehr, and they came on in this area here. This released the 12th Regiment, which moved down into the wooded area on the left-hand side of the village of Saint-Amand, and the Fusilier Battalion of the 12th Regiment moved into skirmish order inside this wood here. The 24th Regiment proceeded to move off the high ground and to support Rubens' brigade. The 2nd Westphalian Landwehr then arrived approximately, well, to the rear of the 24th Regiment. Throughout the whole game, the Prussian battery on the high ground here had alternated between being hesitant and not hesitant, and really didn't contribute much to the battle. By contrast, the battery that belonged to Rubens' brigade over here had been doing great execution on Lagarde's and Bethier's brigades. The French batteries on the high ground here continued to bombard the engaging counter battery fire on the French battery, and also any battalions that moved down into this area here in support of Rubens' brigade and Jaguars' right-hand flank. In regards to offensive action, the French continued to launch both Lafol's brigade and Cousson's brigades at Saint-Amand. Lafol's brigade actually was successful in driving out the regulars from Saint-Amand on the right flank, but in that process, Lafol himself was unhorsed, and as a consequence of that, his brigade faltered, retired, and then failed to falter roll again and retired off the table, leaving just Cousson's brigade. At this point, the French young guard were committed. All right, so it's turn 5. We'll roll for the French first. White dice, green's the off-table guy. You haven't got the off-table guy, but you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 on-table ADCs. And now for the Prussians, they've got 4 and 1. The off-table didn't arrive, and the Prussians have got 2 ADCs, and they missed 2. Oh, mind you, it was a double 6, so you get a bonus one. So it's 3 for the. You've got 3 ADCs, Arno, and Daryl, you got 4. All right. So now, Arno, you've got that brigade over yonder has to have 1 because it's got it's a Faltering Brigade, the cavalry. Yeah. And you can give it a re-roll. So you could conceivably give it 2. But that would leave you just 1 ADC for other stuff. But if you don't give it any, then it automatically routes off the table.
Yeah. Just trying to see what I can do with 2.
And with a savoir-faire result, it's line. So a Faltering brigade on a line, because it's the bulk of the brigade is regulars. Yeah. They will flee off table on a roll of
3.
Yeah, so it's yeah. 3's a retire, so they'll go. So 4 is a 50-50 chance that they're going to go.
Yeah. So we'll give them 2 ADCs.
Yep. That leaves you 1.
How many casualties on that garrison in the town?
4. So they're still fresh. Once they take their 5th casualty, they're no longer fresh.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'll give the extra 1 to the brigade on my extreme right.
Yep, the Landwehr.
Yeah, for the reroll.
All right. That leaves Daryl. Now, you can, when you assault BUAs, just so you know, Daryl, unless you have an infantry assault order, only 1 battalion at a time can attack. But if you have infantry assault, you can assault with multiple battalions. But attacking BUAs, it's a maximum of 2 battalions can go in. Regardless, you can't attack a BUA. You can't attack with more than 1 battalion per brigade unless you have infantry assault order given. And an infantry assault order, just so you know, it requires 2 ADCs. Now you got 4, so you could give infantry assault.
And the glory?
Oh yeah, you could give glory is 1, so you could give infantry assault and glory. That's 3, and then a re-roll. That's 4, all to 1 brigade. If you wanted to try to make sure that it goes in. Yeah, well, your cavalry's sitting there at the moment, staring at artillery. Win, lose, or...
Has the cavalry taken?
1 regiment has... These guys have 5, and the Hussars have 6. So you got 5 on one, 6 on the other. So they're both worn. But that doesn't have any effect on whether or not they obey their initial orders or not. It just means they're closer to getting, blown off the table.
So if instead of assaulting with the infantry, if I wanted to use 3
to
recover 2 casualties,
would
that be a sensible thing to do or not?
Well, it's really is just a risk versus gain type of thing. That's a command roll, so it's 3 ADCs. You probably want, with 3 ADCs, you'd want to throw all 4 in because it's a lot of ADCs to waste if you fluff the roll. So 4 ADCs potentially. You recover 2 casualties per unit, but where they are, they're probably just going to get blasted again anyway.
Yeah.
It's kind of like throwing good money after bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. Well, let's.
Mind you, you could. Yeah. I just get them out of them. you know, that's what I'd be doing. So they do get to move before the enemy shoots. So there's that going for them.
Well, let's go for two on the infantry assault, one on glory.
Yeah.
One on brigade attachment.
All for the one brigade?
Yeah.
Which brigade do you want to give that to?
The one with the infantry.
You got three. You got two brigades there. You got one over there, and then you got one far over there.
I'll use the ones where the one on the ones both on the ones on the extreme right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they have two that could assault the
yeah, both potentially could reach. I think what's the charge range for him? It's 9 plus a charge bonus. So this one, for example, is that would probably reach. Oh no, he's unformed. That one could. That one won't. This one's closest. These guys here.
We'll use them on that one there.
Yeah. All right. So the brigade commander. I think that's Kosin. Kosin's gonna go right. I'm off. I'm leading these other guys forward now. You guys sit back there and get your act together. I'm going forward with the other two battalions. Right. Okay. So now we roll for ADC for command. So you've allocated all 4 to here, and Arno's has got 2 over there and 1 with the Prussians. All right. The Landwehr. Okay. So with that in mind, we'll roll for them. All right. So let's start with Jaguars Brigade. These fellas in here.
Hang on, who's got the initiative?
That we haven't figured that out yet. That's what we're rolling to do now. So Jaguars Brigade. Yeah, they're fine. No worries there. This independent colonel on the hill here from the is this the 12th or the 24th up here? 12th. Okay, the 12th Regiment. Yeah, they're hesitant. Okay, so that's a hesitant one. 24th. They're the guys with the re-roll. 5, they're fine. And now the Faltering Brigade. So this is what's important. So this is their first roll. If you don't like it, you can go for a re-roll. This is assuming they don't. Yeah, okay. So they're on the faltering table. So it's just a straight roll on the faltering table. So a 3, which is retire. They'd be gone. Obviously, you want to re-roll it. 1. So they're gone. All right. So the Prussian cavalry's decided we're out of here. We thought better of it. All right. Now for the French.
I feel for you.
Okay. So for the French, we've got Lvov's brigade, the one closest.
Yes.
Yeah. We're going to roll for them now. Hesitant. So they're hesitant. Now the one with the. Sorry. Yeah, yeah. Now, Courson's brigade, which has got that's the one with the glory and the re-roll. 1. So hesitant, but they got the re-roll. 5. Okay, so they're going. I think it's Bethier's brigade is the next one along. I think that's the brigade. I'll just yeah. They're fine, and then the ones on the far left, the other infantry brigade. Yeah, the guards, 3, so they're fine. And now for the French cavalry. 1, they're hesitant. Right. Yeah. So the cavalry brigade's hesitant in front of the guns.
No, that's fair enough. I can't argue with that.
Mind you, that doesn't stop them from going back anyway. So the French have 2 hesitant. The Prussians have 2 because the faltering fleeing brigade plus the battery. So it's just a straight roll. Prussians are the black dice. Prussians roll 6 and the French roll 8. So the French have the initiative.
That's handy.
Well, they are attacking, so it makes sense. All right, so charge declarations.
Well, I will charge the two infantry into the built-up area.
Yep. Okay. So we'll move them up. They're 3 inches. Up to 3 inches. Now they move the French infantry in column, so they go 9 plus 3. Sorry, 3 short. Funnily enough. That's fine. So he goes to there. Now, which battalion do you want to attach to? The one on the right or the one on the left?
That one.
This one here that I'm moving now?
Yes, please.
Okay. So he's attached to them with glory. Okay. Any other charge decks?
Are they in charge range of the built-up area in front of them?
No. No, they're not. So it's 9 inches for an infantry column movement. Infantry in column is 9. And then the charge bonus is another 3. So no.
So they're not going to make it?
No.
And I can't see how far the guards away.
Oh, sorry, this is Battalions. Oh, Battalions could reach. I'm thinking like Lagarde's over here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lagarde couldn't reach. Battalions could. He could throw 1 battalion in.
Just one?
Yeah. Well, you can only you're not on infantry assault, so only 1 can go in.
Right. Of course.
But you could throw 1 in.
Look, I might just do that.
All right.
And hope for the best.
Okay, so
It wasn't my original plan, but I'm feeling impulsive.
okay, so do you want to go the center battalion, the one on the right, the one on the left?
The one on the right.
Okay, one on the right. Okay. So he pulls up 3 inches short. There he is. Okay. Any other charges? Oh, nothing in range and they're hesitant, so no. All right. Arno, do you have any charges you want to declare?
No.
Okay, so you're going to shoot, obviously.
Cavalry Brigade Commander, and I'm going to...
I guess it's because he's got all those landwehr milling. It's like diluting his brigade with those stupid landwehr cavalrymen.
Fighting unit of reservists and the grenadiers run.
All right, so let's have a look here. So now you're going to obviously shoot. All right, so you've got 4 shots coming out of the garrison. There's 2 battalions coming in. You split your shooting across the front, so it's 2 and 2. So this one here, one hit, and the other battalion, no hits. So you got 1 hit on these guys here. As you shoot as they come crashing in towards you. Boom, 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 boom. Here, 1 single battalion coming at you. I might have given you too many dice, actually. A standard garrison. How many dice do you get?
3.
3, sorry. Oh, well, it was 2 and 1, so that worked out right. Ooh. All right, 3. 3 over yonder. 1 hit. So they've taken a hit going in as well. And that's the charge phase done, because they just go straight in. But they've got some casualties on them as they go. All right, movement. The French have the initiative.
Well, the Hessian Brigade can't move, can they?
They can move back, which is probably what they want to do. Oh, sorry, these guys here.
Yeah, I'm going right to left.
Oh, yeah, of course you are. Yeah,
Hold.
yeah, they can hold. But the good news is you can reform these guys, though.
All right, if I can do that, can I
Yeah,
do that?
yep, they'll reform.
Then the rest of can Corson.
Well, he's with these, but these guys can move. They can still move up. So this one though is still in disarray, so they would probably want to reform.
Could they just they can reform.
Yeah.
And the other ones.
Yeah.
Who's on the other side of the bridge? The Prussians. What are they?
They're all regulars in here and reservists behind them.
So can I make a move towards the bridge?
You can, if you so desire. You can send them towards the bridge.
But would that be a suicide mission?
I think they'd be very not suicide. Well, no, yeah. Well, I think they'd. Well, think about it. They've got a battalion this side of the bridge and a battalion that side of the bridge. They've got guys on the hill that next turn are going to be released, and you've got a battery in front of them.
Yeah, let's move them up towards the building.
Okay, this way?
Yeah, right next to where the brigade commander is.
All right.
Up there.
Yeah, no worries. Oh, let me just move these casualties behind him. I mean, they could have done that in the charge phase anyway if they really wanted to, because it's the charging battalions and the supports. So, but yeah, anyway. So they've moved up to there. Okay. These guys here, their guys are going there.
What can the skirmishers move to get into a good position to shoot at something?
Well, they've got to be more than 3 inches in front of the guys in front of them to be effective anyway. So at the moment, they're standing here. They could move off to one side into this open area here, or they could move off to this side, because what they do is they just provide fire support and they cover this. If eventually you're going to go into this, if you're going to roll battalions into the village one after another in a crumbling effect, then these guys are doing nothing here. They're not helping you. You're better off sending them off to go off this way and shoot into these guys, or go off this way and try to drive these Prussian skirmishers off here. They just stand here. They're just spectators.
I think they'll move to the right and try and move and deal with the skirmishers.
All right, so they can basically they're forming a link.
The intent is to deal with the skirmishers in the forest.
Yeah. So they're moving off to sort of be a link between the other brigade, funnily enough, which is what skirmishers often did. We'll put that down when we get to the shooting. The smoke is clearing somewhat. Not much, but a bit. All right, that leaves these brigades here. You just want to move them, you just want them to advance, or?
Yes, please.
All right. Do you want them to fill out this way or fill out that way, or just in formation straight ahead?
I think straight ahead. It's a bit hard to see from the angle I'm on, but
yeah, well,
essentially I want them to be giving support to the charging unit.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for example, Scott, in the event that the charging battalion gets repulsed.
Yeah, it needs to be able to get.
I want room so they can just fall back.
Yeah, they can go through here and form up behind them. They can do that easy. Okay, now Jaguars.
I can't see.
Oh, sorry. Let me take you over to where Jaguars is. Okay, this is Jaguars Brigade. At the moment, they're just screening off this area here and just shooting at them. That's all they're doing.
Some of the square
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah. These two guys are in square.
Well, they can get out of square, and there's no cavalry to worry about.
Mm-hmm. All right. Hang on. So they're back in the column.
Yeah. Does that take up a whole move to do that, or?
Change formations, half a move. Oh, hang on, what are they? They're line. Line regiments, formation changes. It's a full move for all units. Sorry, formation change.
Yeah. Change or move.
Yeah. If they were veterans, they can change formation and then half move.
Yeah, that's okay. They need to get out of square. They don't want to be shot in square.
Yeah. So,
I mean, they could be shot in square.
Yeah. But these two battalions are not in square.
Yeah, well, can the skirmishers move to allow those two battalions to go forward?
Oh, the battalions can go straight through them anyway. So you could.
But I just want to be able to shoot with them.
Yeah. So for example, the battalions could move forward 9 inches.
Yeah.
Right, which will get them to there. Mind you, the skirmishers would be so close that they're not effectively offering a screen, but they could go this way and then fire into the garrison there, or even fire into the Prussian reserves behind them, behind the town.
Yeah. Let's get them into a position where they can shoot into the town.
Yeah. So they've moved off over here. So they're in this rough going, this cultivated ground over here. And that leaves these guys to Vive l'Empereur! Tap, tap, tap. So they're moving forward through here. Drums beating. Vive l'Empereur! Okay, and that leaves your cavalry. I suspect you just want them to go back.
As far as possible.
Okay, 9 inches if they can step back 9.
Yeah.
So that would get them, yeah, back here.
Like, they've had some initial success, so they can come back now.
Yeah, they'll still be unformed though.
Yeah.
Because they could form there. It's like, that's probably not a really good idea, boss. Arno's movement.
Yeah. Sorry, so the cavalry, they're still unformed.
Yeah, because they've moved.
They moved, yeah.
So they're milling around here unformed. They're still within, for example, 10 inches from this battery. From this battery to that regiment, it's 10 inches.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's canister range or what. I'll have to check.
That's close canister, yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's not nice to be a hussar today. These guys will go off the table, so we don't have to worry about them. That leaves the garrison in here. This battalion here. Your skirmishers.
Yeah.
Your skirmishers have to...
Back is within 3.
So, I'm sorry, come again?
The battalion in the rear is within 3.
Yep.
So he's supporting, that's fine.
Yep.
The skirmishers.
Yep.
I'd like them to push out to the edge of the, so that they can engage the front of that
Cavalry?
battalion that's advancing.
Oh, okay, gotcha. You want them to be able to shoot these guys over here. Yeah, yeah, here's the...
The skirmishers.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking at, the skirmishers, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but the thing is, the problem you have is cavalry. And skirmishers don't like advancing towards cavalry. So I was thinking maybe go this way. Come through here. But the thing is that his skirmishers are on this side, so it's going to be a skirmish fight if you go that way. Because...
No, I'll leave them linking the two.
Yeah, just leave them where they are? Yeah. All right.
The cavalry back, so I wasn't sure where they.
It's got nothing to do with me, but if the cavalry are withdrawing,
Yeah.
it'll be able to be blasted by the artillery.
Yeah. With the skirmishers' care.
Well, yeah, with the skirmishers care, we can get up and have a shot at them on the way out.
Yeah, but the thing is, they also might be thinking they might just be a feint withdrawal. They don't know exactly the state that all they see is a bunch of. They've just seen a massive cavalry melee. Yeah. These the French cavalry victorious, and then they're just trotting back, and they're going. They don't know that, you know. It's like, are they retreating? Are they just reforming to come forward? Are they like, what's going on with that French cavalry? You know, Fritz here is not going to go, you know what, screw it. There are big guys on horses with sabres. I'm going to go have a pot shot at them. No, it's like, nah. I'm not going. I'm not going to have those guys. They come back at me. I can't form a square. You know, all I've got to rely on is my feet. So yeah, skirmishers are very nervous around cavalry.
Fair enough.
Yeah. These guys, you want to make sure that they're within 3 so that they can link. Well, yeah, that stream, it doesn't really bother them. That's the problem for them for here. This is the problem with the terrain here. The stream is over, it puts them over 3 inches away.
Yeah.
So they could go to the right, they could cross the stream here, which puts them within 3 inches of this garrison.
Yeah.
And
yeah, let's do that.
All right. So no worries. So normally its movement is 6, so it's down. Okay, so they'll get them within 3 as they're crossing the stream. So that's where they are, because it's just a brook, really. Just a. Okay, that's their movement because it's their half movement across there. Okay.
Is it half movement or?
No, it's half movement across that. Yeah, I'll check in. I'll just, once we do the other, we'll just check here first. So you got any other movement you want to do here?
Not really. Where's the skirmish on the extreme left flank?
These 2 guys are here.
Yeah, they're fine there.
Yeah. All right then. I'll just check on the. This is a nice view from behind the Prussian lines towards the advancing Frenchmen. I'll just check that stream, the effect that it has.
The normal terrain crossing rules apply, page 62.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because it's just a stream. So from the end of turn 5 and onwards into turn 8, this is the situation. On the French right-hand flank, the brigades of La Folle and Coussons are attacking Saint-Amand, and then the brigades of Bethesay is also attacking Saint-Amand with Jaguars Brigade still in reserve. At turn 6, the 12th Regiment is released, as is the 24th. The 24th moves down in support of Rubens Brigade and Jaguars Brigade units that are on this side of Saint-Amand. On the left-hand side, the Prussian left, the French right of Saint-Amand, the 12th Regiment has been released and has moved down in support of Jaguars Brigade, with 1 battalion, the Fusilier Battalion, breaking into skirmish order and moving into the wooded area. Coussons and La Folle's brigades continued their assaults, and La Folle's brigade's actually successful in driving out the regulars that were in the built-up area of Saint-Amand. At the same time, Bethesay's brigade attacks and drives out the Prussian regulars that are in Saint-Amand, but in turn are repelled by the reservist battalions that come in and drive them out. In doing so, Bethazane himself is killed when artillery fire from the artillery attached to Reuben's brigade fires into the flank of his columns, and he's killed outright. Fortunately for the French, Bethazane's brigade passes their Faltering Brigade test. By contrast, however, La Fole's brigade assaults and drives out the Prussian regulars in Saint-Amand. In the process, however, La Fole himself is unhorsed and scurries off to the rear. This causes his brigade to falter. Well, the consequences of that you'll see in the upcoming footage. So when La Fole was unhorsed and went scurrying to the rear, his brigade actually failed their Faltering Brigade role, primarily because there was actually not one single ADC available for them to allocate to La Fole's Faltering Brigade. And so, unfortunately for them, the brigade started to stream to the rear. So with that, I'll just go back to actual footage of the game, and you can pick up what's going on from that point on. And you can see in this footage here, I think this is around about the end of turn 5 going into turn 6. You can see here, if we move across the battlefield a bit more, we'll see that here's the garrison and it's unoccupied. La Fole, and you can see La Fole's brigade streaming off table. Just a quick summary of where we were from the end of turn 4 to now at the beginning of turn 8. The Prussian cavalry that was bested here by the French cavalry, they failed their Faltering Brigade test and they fled off the table. By contrast, the French cavalry brigade, they pulled back, were then shot up badly by the artillery. One regiment of cavalry was completely wiped out, caused a Faltering Brigade on the rest of the French cavalry. They failed, they routed off the table. That just basically left infantry. The French assaulted this built-up area, initially drove the Prussians out. The Prussians then counterattacked with an infantry assault with 2 battalions and drove the French out. They did so well in driving the French out, they actually killed their brigade commander and then captured the village and are currently still garrisoning that village. Over here, La Fole's brigade eventually got their act together. They assaulted the French, the Prussians in this built-up area, drove them out. In the process of the assault, they suffered a destiny result, and that was a cat's eyes, a double 1, and La Fole had fallen off his horse and then went scurrying to the rear, which made the rest of the brigade falter. When we rolled for ADCs, unfortunately for the French, they got no ADCs. They had 4 ADCs that were on table and 1 off table. They rolled a 3 for the off table ADC and they rolled 2 2s and 2 1s for the on table ADCs. As a consequence, no ADCs. So there was no one left to shore up divisional morale, which resulted in the whole brigade taking a retreat result. Each battalion had then fall back, including the battalion that was successful in capturing this BUA. It abandoned the BUA and has retreated back to here. And the rest of the brigade is streaming off as well. It's now the beginning of turn 8. The French Young Guard has arrived, but with no ADCs for this turn, it won't be entering the table this turn. By contrast, the Prussians at the beginning of turn 8, they have 2 ADCs. Okay, so you want to allocate your two ADCs that you have to the bringing on the off-table reserve.
That's correct.
All right. So to decide what you've got, that's right. You've already gone past your charge decks. this garrison is getting charged by this battalion, and I'm assuming, which one? This one or this one? This one's got 3 casualties. Well, it'd have to be this one. Oh, it's in charge arc. You could charge with this one or this one. One's got 4 casualties, one's got 3. Which one do you want to throw in? Okay, an important note here. This battalion that I'm just about to move in to attack the built-up area, that battalion is from Battalions Brigade. You can always attack with a single battalion from an infantry brigade, as long as it's not hesitant. The next battalion that I'm going to move in, that battalion's attacking from Jaguars Brigade.
They're charging in from this brigade. Which just means the garrisons will shoot. Now you can have defensive fire as well, I know. So you've got 3 skirmish dice here and 4 skirmish dice from here. You want 4 at that and 3 at this?
Yeah.
All right. All right. The Reds are getting shot into them. So no hits from the Reds, but from the Black, you've got 6, 6, 6, and 4. All right, so that's 3 hits. It takes them up to 6. Movement, Prussian movement. Obviously, you want to bring your off-table brigade on first. Any particular formation you want them in?
What are they, large, reserve it, column?
Yeah. So 9 inches. All right. Skirmishers are out the front.
Yeah. And 3 abreast.
Yeah. I only finished painting these last night.
Oh, they're fresh.
They are fresh. They're very fresh. Fresh Landwehr. All right. So this is now looking directly towards the BUA where the large battalion is. You've got a battalion here that's going in and a battalion here that's going in. These battalions here, like this one, if you move him up to there, he'll be within 3 inches. And then if there's an ongoing melee, you can throw them in.
Wonderful, we'll do that.
Yep.
And can I move the ones that were behind?
Yeah.
Up behind where that one just moved from.
Yep. So let me just put it
And,
there.
and then the ones who are behind them, can I just move them up as well?
Yep, sure.
Pretty much behind the skirmishers.
Yep. As long as they stay over 3 inches, it's providing. So you want them to move so that the skirmishers are actually providing an effective screen for them.
That's the intent.
Yeah. All right. Cool. That's what I respect. So they've got to be 3 inches. Yeah, that's fine. They'll help them from getting shot at by musketry. They won't help. Skirmishers don't stop cannonballs though. So that's the only thing that they'll have to deal with, the fact that if they get shot at by artillery, skirmishers do not stop artillery fire, except unless it's canister. And just all that means is the first casualty goes on them. That's all. They just help soften the blow.
Now, if we move across to the that way, let's have a look.
So their battalions consist of this guy here. They're in line, and this guy here. This was the one that was in and got thrown out. So he could move up, and he could conceivably start. The problem that the French have at the moment is he's the most forward battalion of the French army, other than one that's assaulting into the BUA. Right? And the problem that he has is he's by himself. And he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Prussian battalions heading towards him.
Can he come back?
Yeah.
In line with his units to his right?
Yeah, he could just form line there, or he could step back. I think stepping back is 3 inches. So he could step back to here.
Yeah, I prefer that, please.
All right, so he just steps back.
Yeah.
like that. Yep.
They're fine. The ones behind.
Yep.
I'll just move those up, please.
Yep. Yep. And then you've got your skirmish screens there, and these guys are hesitant,
Yeah.
so they can't move.
No, let's just leave it there.
Okay, so that's all the movement done. Shooting. Prussians have the initiative, so the Prussians get to shoot first. So let me just move this over here. What do you want to fire first, Arno?
Well, the skirmishers don't have any targets.
Nope, they don't.
On the left. So the garrison.
Yep. Yeah, they've just moved in, so it would be an unformed garrison, so it would be 3 casualty dice out. I'm pretty sure. I'll just check that, because it's it's a standard size battalion, so it's 3.
Is it? Well, wait a minute. Is the regular?
It's the regular battalion. It's regular. Yeah, so it would normally be 3, but it's unformed, so I think it loses 1.
Yeah, so that's 2.
And it moved, but I don't think that matters. It just classed as unformed. Because it's not firing a volley, it's firing garrison fire. Yeah. So they're basically following up the French that have withdrawn. They're going, geez, the village is they've pulled back. So
So 2 dice at that.
yeah,
Battalion to the front.
right, correct. 4 and a 3, so it's a miss. Skirmish and garrison fires hits on 5s and 6s, and volley and artillery CDs hit on 4s and 4, 5s and 6s. Okay, so that's the garrison fire. The Schützen's got no one to shoot at. Moving along, these skirmishers here.
Yeah, whoever's closest to the front.
They could shoot at the line.
Yeah.
Oh, double 6. All right. Okay, so that is 2 hits.
Okay.
Um,
The battery on the hill.
Hang on, did they have to do a test?
nah, not from skirmish fire.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Okay, the battery on the hill. And they want to shoot at these guys again, I guess.
Well, yeah.
That's because everything else is either they could shoot at them, or they could shoot at them. They're the only 2 that they can hit because everything else is in the shadow of the village.
Yeah.
So they could, but they could shoot at them. They could shoot at them. They could no, they can't shoot at them. So it's them, or the battery, or the skirmish line, or these guys way back here.
Well,
This is effective.
first 2
Sorry.
those first 2 options. Has anyone got any casualties?
Yeah, they've got 5. They've got 10.
Well, whoever's got 10.
All right. You've rolled an 8 at long range.
1 casualty.
All right, that takes them up to 11. They can take 1 more. Jeez, they're getting chewed up. No bounce throughs. No one behind them. Okay, that's the battery done. The garrison here.
Sorry, what was the range on that?
It's over 25.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
So the garrison, the next one along?
Yeah. Large battalion, so 4 dice. But there's 2 targets, so it's 2 and 2. Red's right. 1 hit on these guys on the right. So they go up to 4. But that's it. That's all they're shooting. Then we move along. We have the Schützen. Nothing's in range. Sorry?
Did they already fire?
Yeah, that's what they shot at them, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about behind them? Are they in range?
The what?
The hesitant troops behind.
Yeah, but they can only... you can't shoot through your own skirmish screen.
Yeah, okay.
And these guys could shoot, but it's be an inferior volley. But you can't because they're already in contact with the BUA. They've gone in. But you've got these skirmishers here, and they could shoot at the skirmish screen.
Okay.
So it's 2 dice. 1 hit. And then that leaves just your battery to shoot at.
Well, who's in effective range?
Well, the only target really is these guys.
Okay.
Yeah. So 8 at effective, because I'm pretty sure it's effective range. Yeah, 21.
Yeah.
8 at 21.
2.
2. That takes him up to 7. You got no one to shoot at. Just need another casualty carrier. Okay, so that's all the shooting done, I think. If I ain't mistaken.
That's everything for the Prussians.
Yeah, the French. All right. You've got a column here. They could fire into the garrison.
Might as well.
You might roll double 6. Roll 6. So 6 minus 1 is a 5. Inferior volley, because you're in a column. Sorry, it's not an inferior volley. It's a standard volley, but halved. So that's 1, but it's halved, so it's nothing. Oh, actually, it's a volley, so you could roll up. Nah, 2. So nothing from them. So they're fired. Good news is they haven't lost fire discipline. These guys could shoot. You could do the same again.
No, they won't.
Okay, yep. The skirmishers, you got 3 and then 5. We worked that all out. It was 3 dice into the guys in the forest. No hits. You got 1, 2, and a 4. So the skirmish screen is fired. These guys here again.
Is that the line?
Yeah, the 2 lines. So they're firing at a -1 because they've got 4 casualties. They're not. So, and they're firing at cover, so it's -2, and there's casualties halved because of the BUA. Do you want to fire them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just checking. Oh, 10. 10. So that would normally be 3, but it's halved and round down because you're in a BUA. So standard volley.
A 10's 4, isn't it? 4 plus discipline test.
Yeah, it would be 4, but I think it's we've lost. Oh no, they didn't move last turn. So then it's standard volley. It's 4, and you halve it, so it's 2. And then this line here. Oh, but it's 10 minus 2, sorry. So it's 8. So it's 3, yeah. It was, that's what it was, yeah. Because there was a -2. Because you've got casualties and you're firing into cover. Now these guys here have just got a -1. They've rolled 9, -1 is 8. Which is 2, it's just 3 and then halved, yeah?
Yeah.
8, standard volley 3, halved, and rolled down, which is 1. So 6. So they're chipping away. 1 casualty from them, 1 casualty from them, so they're shooting away at them. Black, black, black. No. Oh, your skirmishers here. Shooting at skirmishers. 5. Got a hit. So 1 hit on the Prussian skirmishers. And that leaves the batteries. They can still shoot at that mob back here.
Have they moved down there to help us sufficiently, have they?
Yeah, they can't get the one here because they're too far under the village. They're within 9 of the village, but these guys aren't. So you could shoot at them.
And what about over on the left?
Yeah, you could fire onto any of these here, brigades. So
The fresh one, both the fresh ones.
yeah, you can fire at this one or this one. Yeah, they're all fresh. They've got no casualties on. You could shoot at this one or that one.
I think I'll shoot them and see if I get a bounce through.
Yep, okay. So it's going to be long range. A 10 and a 7. Long range artillery. So the 10 at long range.
2 and a discipline test.
Yeah, and the 7
Half.
is half. We rolled that up. Let's see if we roll that up. It is, it's rolled up. So the 10 was 2, and the 7 is 1, so that's 3 and a discipline test. So we'll just do the discipline test for them first. They've got no minuses. They've rolled a 9, they don't care. But they've got 3 casualties on them. And I don't think, no, they're not close enough to get bounced through. The guys behind them aren't close enough to get a bounce through.
How close are they?
I'll just check. I'm just looking by eye. I think it's got to be within 3 inches.
6.
Ah, well, if it's 6, then it might be.
Behind the target.
Yeah. Well, in that case, they do. I'll get bounced through onto them and onto them. So 1 CD onto them, 1 CD onto them. Red on the right. So there's 1 hit on these guys. 3 casualties on them, and then the bounce through took 1 on these guys.
Well, they're doing a good job.
Yeah, that was good shooting. That's all the shooting. Now it just leaves the melee. And the only melee is this one here. And this is an interesting one. Because what we have here is we have a garrison. So that has 5 dice. Because it's formed. It's a large regiment, so it's up to 6. They've got 1 battalion coming in. It's normally 5. Its morale grade is higher, so it's now 6. But it's attacking a BUA, so it drops. So sorry, hang on. It's normally 5, but it's attacking a BUA, so it goes down to 4. But it's got a morale grade higher, so it goes back up to 5. But it's carrying 4 casualties, so it goes back down to 4. So it's 4. And then these guys, it's the same. It's 4. So it's 6v4. 8v6. So we'll do the 8 first. So the French coming in with it. Say again?
Do they roll individually?
Nah. It's just a big melee. Right. It's 8v6. The French are the black dice. Alright. Just bring this over here for you guys to have a look at. Let's have a look. What have we got? We've got the Prussians they got 5 hits out of their 6, and the French got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you've both got 5 casualties each, which means it's a fight on. Now, the Prussians could throw in another battalion, large, and the French could throw in another battalion, standard. So that's the situation for you guys. So if that happens, well, first we'll parcel out the casualties first. So it was 5 on these chaps. It's 5 each, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So he's now up to 8. And it was 5, so it's 2 and 3. So he gets another 1, 2, 3. And he goes up to 6 with 2. Right. So that's the situation. Currently, the way it stands, hang on, let me just put this up so you can see.
I feel like if the ones with 9 suffer any more casualties, are they off the board?
They can take 3 more casualties. When they hit 12, they've gone. So they could. But if you throw in another battalion, you're spreading the casualties across 3 battalions instead of just 2.
Yeah, look, let's go for it.
All right. And the Prussians, do you want to hold on or are you going to pull back?
No, we'll hold on.
All right. So you're going to feed this battalion in.
Yep.
And the Prussians are going to feed, the French are going to feed this battalion in. All right. So let's add it all up. All right. 4 versus 8. The white is the Prussians. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits across 3 battalions. That'll be 2 each.
Yeah, that's a good result.
Yeah. And only 2 misses. The French got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits. So 7 hits versus, so it's a difference of 1, and I think a difference of 1.
The loser retreats.
Second round of the BUA. Okay, yeah. So he'll retreat, but he won't retreat, he's just wiped out. Because of that many hits on him, he's been wiped out. So that brigade is now faltering because it has a unit dispersed, in other words, wiped out. 2 hits here will take him up to 8. So they're in a bad way. 2 hits here takes him up to 5. 2 hits here takes him up to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They're one off just going. I'm assuming the one with the lowest amount of casualties you want to move in.
Yes, please.
All right, so he goes in, unformed, with 5 casualties. They can just hold their ground. How many hits did they have all up? They got 7. So it's 4 and 3. 4. Oh, hang on, they may not break. 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11. Yeah, no, sorry, that's 12. Yeah, bang, and 3 on these guys. Okay, so yeah, they took the village, but geez, it's been at a hefty cost. But it has caused Reuben's brigade it's caused it to falter, because at any time that a brigade is wiped out, a regiment is wiped out, that triggers a falter. So they'll have to roll on the faltering table, and because they're reservists, recruits, they're just land there, they could well buckle. They could go, these are making the running and the getting away. This is not good. We don't like this at all. Not everything. What's hesitant? So, back to the live action. Reuben's brigade was caused to falter because the battalion that was destroyed at Saint-Lamont, La Haye, but they passed that test result, that Faltering Brigade test, and they got an obey orders. So they rolled a 6 on that, and so they were pretty lucky.
So despite having one battalion completely wiped out, Reuben's brigade continues to hold on. As you can see, I'm pointing here. This is the 2nd Westphalian Landwehr. They're reservists, and they've now come on the table in column formation, 3 abreast. Directly in front of them is the 24th Regiment. Most of turn 9 consisted of both the French and the Prussians basically getting themselves back into some semblance of order. The Young Guard arrived, but unfortunately went hesitant in the first turn they arrived, so they didn't move at all. And they arrived basically in the same position where Lafol's brigade had departed the battlefield on the French extreme right flank. So it was around turn 10 that the Young Guard finally got their act together, and they advanced towards Saint-Amand on the French extreme right. There was more desultory fire, cannonading going on, more housekeeping, units recovering disorder and the like. And at turn 11, the Young Guard then assaulted Saint-Amand on the extreme right. Also at the same time, the Battalions Brigade prepared to assault Saint-Amand on the opposite side of the road. And then at the same time, to help them with that, the Young Guard artillery came across and started firing directly into Saint-Amand to help prepare the assault for Battalions Brigade. So that when Battalions Brigade went in, they were successful. But prior to that, the Young Guard launched their assault. And, like I said, textbook assault, and they drove the Prussians out of Saint-Amand. So now, at around about turn 13, we have a situation where, let's have a look. So this is the situation at the beginning of turn 13. The Prussians are holding on grimly in front of Saint-Amand. They've lost control of both built-up areas, with the Young Guard storming in and holding this built-up area, and with a battalion, the freshest battalion from Battalions Brigade, storming in and driving the very battered and attrited Prussians out of Saint-Amand. So they now are in a situation where you have the Young Guard and Corson's Brigade here, Battalions Brigade and elements of Lagarde's Brigade here, and Lagarde, 1 battalion holding Saint-Amand-la-Haye. It was at this point, at turn 14, that the Prussians launched their spoiling counterattack. The 2nd Westphalian Landwehr, consisting of 3 large reservist battalions, assaulted across the stream between the 2 villages of Saint-Amand and Saint-Amand-la-Haye, and drove in these battalions here. So much so they even started to threaten the French Grand Battery. At the same point in time, battalions from the 24th Regiment attacked and drove out the Guards battalion that was holding Saint-Amand-la-Haye. At this point, it was determined we were going to call it quits, and the game resulted in a draw. The Prussians, for their part, were completely exhausted, but had control of these 2 built-up areas. The French, they had firm control of these 2 built-up areas. Neither side had the ability to threaten the built-up areas held by their opposite numbers. And so, after 15 turns of a maximum of 18, we all agreed that it was a draw. The Prussians taking 2 built-up areas and the Prussians holding 2 built-up areas and the French taking 2. A thoroughly exciting and rippingly good game. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick overview of the game now that it's been called. we'll start with the French left. This is Lagarde's Brigade. We here have the battalion that was just driven out of Saint-Amand-la-Haye, and well, they weren't driven out. It was after the first round of melee. It was a tie, but the defenders decided to withdraw rather than just be wiped out. They've got 10 casualties on them. The Fusiliers of the 24th Regiment that drove them out are carrying 5 casualties, and they have these 3 battalions here that they can feed in, whereas the French had no battalions nearby to help out. Anyway, Lagarde's Brigade here, 10 casualties, 8, 10, and 9. Then we have Bethazin's Brigade. These battalions here, you have 9 casualties, 11, and the ones that are actually holding on within Saint-Amand, they have 8 casualties. The French Grand Battery, notionally under attachment to Bethazin's Brigade. And then we have Courson's Brigade with 6, 3, 9, and 8. And then the Young Guard. They've taken, they were the ones that stormed in and took this part of Saint-Amand. This battalion looked remarkably like Middle Guard, I should add. 5 casualties, 2 casualties, no casualties, and 4 casualties, and then the skirmishes from the Young Guard. So as you can see, the French are in good positions. They're certainly holding on here. They look on the face of it somewhat battered, but you've got to consider Courson's Brigade is not far away and could easily pour in, whereas opposing them, well, let's have a look at the Prussians, and we'll start from the Prussian right and go across. Actually, we'll start from the left, because that's where we were last talking. What we have here is the Fusiliers from the 12th Regiment, carrying no casualties, and the Schützen and Jaegers from Jaguars Brigade. This is a battalion from the 12th Regiment, and this is also a battalion of the 12th Regiment. 2 casualties and 6. Then we look at the battalion from Jaguars Brigades that we're holding here, which consist of these 2 regular battalions and these reservists. They're carrying 6, 9, and 8 casualties on them. Then you have the battery that was attached to the 12th Regiment, Steinmetz artillery. Then here, these were the Prussians from Jaguars Brigade that were holding this built-up area. These guys are carrying 7 casualties, 11, and it's not marked here, but these guys had 10 casualties as well. The heroes of the day, the 2nd Westphalians. These guys, as you can see, 8 casualties, 3 casualties, and 7. I digress. It was 8 casualties, 8 casualties, 7 casualties, and 9 casualties. These are the guys that actually came through here and drove all the way, smashing through the 2 battalions of Bethazine and Lagarde's brigades, and drove all the way to this point here, where Bethazine's men and Lagarde's men rallied, and then just were able to pour fire onto them, and they went tumbling back. Now we have the 12th Regiment, sorry, the 24th. So a battalion from the 24th, another battalion from the 24th, and the Fusiliers from the 24th that stormed in and drove Lagarde's men out. And finally, 2 battalions from Rubin's Brigade. One has been wiped out, but these land there here with 4 casualties, and these land there with 4 casualties. And finally, the battery that did such great execution. This is the battery from Rubin's Brigade, and I think it accounted for 2 brigade commanders with some pretty Swiss shooting. So that's how it looks at the end of the game when we called it.
So yeah, it was a fantastic game. It's testament to the rules, also the fact that you can have two guys who've really, well, one guy had never played the game before. That was Daryl, the French commander, and Arno, the commander of the Prussians. He had played one game once before, but we all agreed that the game was fantastic. Daryl was so taken with it. He is now planning to build a Russian Napoleonic army for General d'Armée. The ADC system in General d'Armée provides ample friction. At no point can you do everything that you want to do as a general rule. So you really are faced with trying to prioritize what it is that you want to do. And it really does, this game really does require you to have a plan and focus on what what the main effort is and making sure you push that. The French plan was to attack on the right, and then once they took the village of Saint-Amand, they were then to roll down the to the left and then try to take Saint-Amand-la-Haye. The Falls Brigade faltering and marching off the table was desperately bad luck. Because the Young Guard, when it was to be committed, I think Daryl's plan was for it to come on the left. So the plan was for Cousson and La Falls brigades to secure Saint-Amand with support maybe from Bethézy's brigade, and then use Lagarde's and the Young Guard to take Saint-Amand-la-Haye. In regards to Arno's plan, his was pretty much a case of wait and see how things developed. But ultimately, probably the best move of the game was when Arno committed the 2nd Westphalian to attack between the brigades of Bethézy and Lagarde, and hitting between that point where two brigades meet is a pretty good tactic, actually, because you have a situation where it is difficult for brigades to coordinate their defence in support of one another. And so you're always going to have that opportunity where the friction is going to affect the enemy in a more detrimental way than it might affect you. The added bonus is that if you can break one battalion from each brigade simultaneously, you cause two brigades to simultaneously falter, which causes real difficulty for the defender. So yeah, fantastic game. If you aren't convinced that General d'Armée gives a great game, I would suggest you have a revisit of these rules. They really are a fantastic set of rules for the Napoleonic era, and easily adaptable, I suspect, for things like the Carlist Wars and even into 1870. But with that in mind, I'll now wrap up. I hope you find this useful. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you've got any comments, put them in the comments below. And other than that, I will see you later. Yibakway.